I called my father and I asked him why wasn't I a trust fund baby. I was really disappointed because he didn't set me up properly.
Right.
But I did end up getting a house in DC, in Northeast. I would say it probably was a C-class neighborhood in the beginning, but I was buying for longevity. I knew once I bought in DC I was never going to sell, and my perspective on buying a house this time was to buy a house that's going to generate income. I no longer wanted to buy a house because I wanted to own a house, or buy a house because it's cute, or buy a house because the kitchen is nice. I bought this house strictly because it can make me money, and it had its own separate basement. So I bought this house with the plan of renting it out, kind of like the house I had just come from. And I was like, I'm gonna make some money, and then I don't care what the house do, long as I'm making some money. So yeah.
Welcome everybody back to another exciting show, the About That Water podcast, where we help you build strong financial habits on this financial lifestyle journey that we are all on. And today I have the awesome opportunity to bring on Sherita Roberts, who has been in the real estate game on and off, but has so much game to share with everybody based on her experience and really not giving up on real estate at all. So, Sherita, just kind of go through right quick, like, what was the pain point in real estate?
Wait, there's so many. Where do you want me to start? There's a crash in 2008. There are tenants that don't pay their rent. There are things that go wrong with properties. There's money that goes out that's not recouped. It's so many. Where do you want me to start?
Oh man, let's go with with the worst one.
I can start in the beginning.
Okay, let's go through there.
Because I guess I wanted to just start from the beginning to tell you how green I was, because I envisioned building this multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio by buying one house at a time. This is way back in 2008. I bought my first house at 24. I'm sorry, before 2008, the crash of 2008. But I bought my first house at 24, and I'm super green. I have all these like glorious prospects, or I don't know, dream outcomes that I think is going to happen, and somewhat got there. So my very first property I bought, I lived in for a year and a half. It was in Waldorf, Maryland, because that was the only place that I could afford at the time. So I was so excited, had a housewarming and everything. Lived in this 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house by myself, and it was not what I thought home ownership was going to be. It was just, I think it was just too much house for one person. It was also maybe 45 minutes outside of DC, so nobody wanted to really come visit me.
I want to drive down there myself.
I know. So I ended up only living there for a year, and then I rented it out to Section 8, and I moved back home with my dad. And I came up with this grand plan of how I wanted to be a millionaire, and I was like, I'm just going to buy 10 homes, pull out $100,000 of each, and then boom, I'm there. So I kind of got there. I bought that first one, rented out to Section 8, and I bought 3 more that year. So I got to 4, and then I started to think, wait, what if all the HVAC units go out on all properties at the same time? What if I need to replace a roof at the same time? Like, nobody told me about any of this. I'm just so tunnel vision, short-sighted, thinking about the money, and didn't even think about how I was going to get there. So I wasn't even able to refinance because the crash happened in 2008. So
oh no,
I was upside down, and majority of my properties are making only like a little bit of money. So yeah.
Yeah, so that first property, well, like how much was that first property?
I honestly don't even remember, but it had to be like either under 100,000 or right at 100,000, because it was Waldorf. At the time I was a GS7. I don't even know what a GS7 was making back then, but it wasn't that much. GS7 for the government, because I live in DC, so federal government is major work here. But yeah.
So because of the housing market, I mean, you know, we always hear about real estate just getting in and everybody's all excited just getting the property. But to actually go through Section 8, I know that's a whole nother like headache right there. So tell me about that process.
Oh my goodness. So no, like first, let me say back it up a little bit because yes, everybody is talking about the benefits of real estate. I was going to all the local RIAs
Oh
and
yeah.
meeting up with people and all that kind of stuff. Nobody told me that somebody would would sign a lease and not pay their rent or have no intentions of paying their rent or get
Wow.
their utilities get shut off and they go into the ground and shut it back on. And then I got subpoenaed to court so to testify against this tenant. But I'm sorry, I totally forgot your question because
No, you
that
can just dive
just
right on into that
oh,
part
you
because I
asked
was
me
like,
about
yeah,
I know that's what I'm saying. I have
like,
so many stories.
that's
So
crazy.
you asked me about the process of Section 8. So Section 8 really isn't that bad if you deliver a nice home. So you just want to make it look like something you would want to live in. So I think that's where people run into problems is because they're trying to cut corners because it's Section 8 and Section 8 is not going for that. It's still people who have to live in this home. So if you do all the repairs to the standard that you would live in it, you'll be fine. Because I just a Section 8 tenant, I just gave her the keys just this week for a Baltimore house that I got approved, and that got approved on the first time. I didn't
Oh,
have to do
good.
any repairs or anything. Right, that is so unheard of because they usually always find something. But my relationship with Section 8 has been really good. I mean, you just follow the rules. I follow everything to a T. All the documentation they ask for, I follow to a T. And I try and lean forward with giving them the information. So, like, if they're only requesting, like, the agreement between me and the tenant, I'm sending the agreement between me and the tenant. I'm sending the lease agreement between me and the tenant. And I'm sending whatever other documentation that will be helpful in speeding up this process. So, that's one thing that I've learned to do with Section 8. And I just don't sit on things. If they sent me the contract, I'm signing it within 20 minutes. So
Nice.
it's really not that bad. Just follow the rules.
So where would you get the rules from? Just like section8.gov or something like that? Where would you go?
Yeah, so Section 8 has a checklist online that you can go by, and it goes room by room, like living room, what's needed, kitchen, what's needed. But it's basically like light fixtures, they all need to be like grounded and the plates have to be on the wall. The kitchen has to be, good caulking, no countertops peeling, cabinets falling off the wall, the doors, all the seals, all that kind of stuff. Your AC has to be working, your heat, windows have to be properly functioning, doors, all that kind of, just a whole checklist. But mainly just make sure that the house is in good condition and you'll be fine.
Okay. Now go back to that tenant that you were talking about that was
Yes.
that signed that joint. So walk us through that process. So you already got the house, you ready, and you found a tenant.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you find the tenant? And then walk us through that.
Yeah, so with the Section 8 property in Baltimore, Baltimore is huge for renters. Most people in Baltimore rent versus owning, and Section 8 is also a huge program there. So for that program, you can advertise on Facebook Marketplace. Worked very well for me this year. That's actually where I got this tenant from. However, they do have another Section 8 site called Go Section 8, and you can just sign up to list your stuff on there. I also list on apartments.com, but I list everywhere, anywhere. I even use Facebook groups. I put the property
wow.
and yes, I'll put it everywhere because it's your money. You have to pay this mortgage. So if I could put a sign on the front of my house that I'm renting it, I would, because I don't want to pay a mortgage. But that worked pretty fast. And then because the demand for Section 8 and a 3-bedroom is probably a property that I would recommend because it's in high demand and the process will move fairly quickly. You just get somebody that already has their approval form once they find a property that they like, and then they submit that form, and then the process goes fairly quickly after that because Section 8 is backed up and they have a wait list. They have all these people they need to get on there. So they move kind of fast after you get, the process rolling.
Okay. Now, the person that didn't pay their mortgage, well, their rent, was that somebody that you found online, or was this part of the Section 8 process?
Yeah, so that was way back in the day before I fell in love with Section 8. I owned 2 properties in Waldorf, I think. Yeah, 2 properties in Waldorf. One of them was Section 8. The other one I had to rent out to a regular tenant, and that tenant ended up being the tenant from you know where. But
Okay.
it just was not a good relationship. However, it did teach me a lot about screening for tenants. I was young then, so I didn't really know. I was green. I didn't have anybody to like mentor me. We didn't have Instagram back then where everybody is telling you their secrets. So I was learning the hard way by making my mistakes, and oh, that wasn't good. I won't do that again. So yeah, with that tenant, that's what it was. Because I actually ended up going on Judge Alex with that tenant because of the severity of how she left my property. I ended up filing a civil case against her. And once you file a civil case, it's public knowledge. So I think for TV sake, it was just a good, catchy, it was Sherita versus Shaquita. So,
A name play. Yeah.
Exactly. So we ended up getting there. It was also like a horrible, like she left so many roaches. Like it was so bad. The contractor wouldn't even work. He was like, I can't even. Wow. And I was like, okay, yeah, it was bad.
So what'd she do with the place?
So she ended up moving out because she couldn't afford the place, and I kept trying. And so that's another thing, is being a landlord, being green. I was trying to help people, trying to work with people, and she had 3 kids, and I see like she's working and she's trying. It's just sometimes the math just don't math. So I was trying to help her, but it just ended up not being a good relationship. So she ended up leaving, but totally tore the house up. She didn't tell me that there was a leak upstairs. This house had a washer and dryer on the top floor. Mm-hmm. So she didn't tell me about this leak. So it was a slow leak. The water was slowly accumulating in the paint. You could see that it was formed a bubble. So by the time I got back possession of the property, it had burst. It was a hole in the ceiling. It was roaches everywhere. I had the bomb for a week straight, and I would just throw the bombs in the house and close the door because I couldn't even go in there. It was so many. I would just run in, throw them, and then
I can only imagine you out there screaming like what?
Exactly. Like I'm like, what did I do? What did I sign up for? I just wanted to make $1 million.
Right. But the sacrifices to make that millions, you know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the things that people leave out is the sacrifices that you got to go through and the trials and tribulations that. Because I'm sure if you known about them before making this $1 million, you're like, no, I'm good. I'll take this 100K over here.
I don't know if I would have said I'm good, but I definitely would have screened better, maybe like had a little more reserve. I just really wish I had like a network. I feel like if I had somebody like a mentor, like telling me like, yeah, this is normal. Because this is the stuff I'm telling you about is normal landlord stuff. Like, but I didn't have anybody telling me like what you're going through is okay. I was super young, 24, and kind of like what you're saying about the sacrifice. I gave up on real estate because I was tired of sacrificing. I looked at all my friends and how they were able to party and go out. I can't party because I got to go show a house, or I can't party because I got to pay somebody's mortgage because they haven't paid their mortgage on time. So it was a lot of sacrifice. So yeah.
So how are you screening people now?
Now I am judgmental, unfortunately, like super judgmental. Like, yeah, like it starts from how you first communicate with me. How are you communicating with me about the property when you show up to see the property, how you present yourself. I also have added in, I need to now see your property, the property you're currently living in. I have to go to that property and see it. And then if you're living in good condition, then we can proceed. So pretty much just watching and taking clues from everything that you give me.
So if they show up in like in a Toyota Corolla, but they got like junk all over the place, is that like a instant red flag?
Yep, okay. It is. I mean, this is also in addition to, you know, the application, the background check, the credit check, and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I am paying attention to that. Like, because if you don't take care of your stuff, you're not going to take care of my house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
What tools are you using for the background check? Because I know there's so many out there.
Yeah, I'm using Smart Move. Okay. I just find that it's reasonably priced because I used a property manager to help me with getting one of the properties rented, and I didn't know this at the time, but one of the potential tenants messaged me and was like, do you have an application that's cheaper than $75? And I was like, $75? Mine is only $45, because I don't want you to spend almost $100 on just the application fee, and then you get denied.
Right.
So it's not about that. And so that's why Smart Move, I really like them. And then the tenant, I just send the tenant or the potential tenant a link, and they put everything in on their side. So I don't get their credit card information, anything. They put everything on their side. They pay it. I just can log in once I get the alert that their report is done, and then I go view it from there.
So you don't bother to deal with property managers at all?
No, I have I don't know if I have control issues, or I'm just very driven and very committed, I guess, because I have to pay the mortgage, and I don't feel like a property manager will have that same kind of commitment. Not saying they're not out there. It is some that are good. If you know somebody, please refer me, but I haven't found anybody. I've heard good stories of some friends, but I haven't had a personal experience with someone that's good. But I don't allow it. Just do it myself. It's easier.
Yeah, we'll probably talk offline because I got a couple recommendations from people in the area.
Okay.
Just on some things, but I'm not sure if I haven't played with them myself, but I did a couple interviews with them and they seem pretty legit. But also the reviews look differently from the tenant side versus, you know what I'm saying, business to business. Everything looks good business to business. So
yeah, I also think because eventually I work a full-time job now. I'm sorry, I know we probably haven't gotten here, but I'm going to eventually transition to just managing the property. So that will become my job. So that's probably another reason why I don't want to hand it off, because that's going to be my job after I don't have a real 9-to-5.
Yeah. So what was the discipline? So now that we talked about kind of like how you got some people in there, you went through a little hiccups early on, but starting out, what was their lifestyle like to actually save up to say, like, you know what, I think I have enough to get my first property?
Getting my first property was kind of like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was just like I was working 35 jobs just trying to get enough money. Yes, I was legit working 3 jobs. I would go to my government job from 6 to 2:30 and then go to a part-time job from 3 to 11. I was working front desk at a concierge at a front apartment building front desk. And then I had a part-time job, another one, where I was doing like promotions on the weekends. I would be in liquor stores, I would be in clubs, I'm promoting. But that's how I did it. That's how I stacked up the money. And at that time, it wasn't really a plan. It was just like, I need to get a house. So tell me what I need to get, and then I'm going to go get it. But I didn't really have like the money set up to do it. Like, it wasn't like on reserve and now I'm like, I'm going to go get it. It was very much so like, I want to do this. Okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, let's go. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
So did you work it backwards? Like, you look at the property first and like, you know what, I need to save like $200,000 at first. So you was like, you know, I'm just get the minimum and be like, hey, I got enough.
You know what? Because now thinking about it, that's probably why I had so many issues. But my first time buying a house, you're a first time home buyer. So I had programs and things that worked in my favor. But no, I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to buy a house. That was the plan. I want to buy a house. Tell me how to do it. So I went through 2 agents before I found one that actually got me to where I wanted to, be. But nope, there was no plan. Sorry. Now there is, but back then I was just, how do I do it? Just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. But it was no like laid out, thought out plan, which is also like, once I started buying all those properties and I started to realize, like, wait, what if all 4 of these houses, something goes wrong? Then I started to like panic, but I don't even know what triggered that thought process and why it didn't trigger it early on. But luckily it did trigger at 4, and I was like, okay, hold on, I need to chill out. So yeah.
All right. So now that you have a process, are you willing to share your process on somebody who's listening, who's planning to get their first property? What would you give them? Like, what tips?
Okay, so when we say process, I just mean I now want to have a certain amount of money reserved before I go and start looking. And typically for me, that's like 30,000. I need to have at least 30,000 in reserve because you never know what's going to come up. Sometimes you can get seller concessions, sometimes you can't. So $30 is $30,000 is probably a good rule of thumb of just to have. Because also once you move into the house, it's still expenses after you move into the house. So I know that probably seems like a crazy number, but if you're a first time home buyer, you may not need 30. So I may be, overestimating a little, but you definitely don't want to be house poor. So you want to make sure that your note is going to be where you are comfortable and you can still have a comfortable lifestyle. Also, in case something happens, God forbid you lose your job, or I don't know, something goes wrong that month, you need to repair your car. You want to have wiggle room in there so that you can still do those kind of things. So I would just say, just make sure that you're buying in a location, for one, good location. You want to be in a good area that's going to appreciate, and you want to have a good amount of money reserved so you're not like buying a house and then you're struggling, or buying a house and then you can't invite anybody over because you can't afford furniture. So yeah, definitely.
I still invite people over. I don't care.
Because men are different though. Men will live in a house for 30 years and just have a lawn chair in the living room. So men are totally different. But and to each his own, baby steps. If you get the house, you can get the furniture whenever. And you don't have to go and get brand new furniture. Get creative and get on Facebook Marketplace and find something, or I don't know, reach out to your family, reach out to friends. I don't know, because Craigslist still popping. There might be some stuff in the free section. It's so many things you can do now.
What I've noticed is that you can actually drive around some of the neighborhoods, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Drive around the nicer neighborhoods, because they usually give away like their full dining room sets be out front. But like, you gotta get there before the trash people do, bulk trash. Because, everything be out there. I was like, man, you getting a whole armoire away?
Or like the thrift store. Don't sleep on the thrift store. They be having furniture in there too, and it'll be old furniture, so it's like solid wood. That IKEA stuff is not like.
They don't even resell that joint. You notice that? Like, when you go to the thrift stores,
I have never seen IKEA in the thrift store.
You're getting all the good stuff. Yeah. So going through, making sure you're getting your tenants. We talked about the Section 8. And so forth and everything like that. So talk about that process where you actually had to sell your property during a 2008 crash.
Yeah, talk about the devastation, talk about the failure, because I feel like I was working so hard to get to this level, and then this crash came that nobody had ever heard of, because that was the first, well, at least in my lifetime, that was the biggest real estate crash. And now all my homes are upside down, or they just have no equity in them. And the rents are barely covering the mortgage. It just was no longer like what I wanted to be a part of. It was like, abort, get me out of this. And initially I thought, I could just file bankruptcy and I would be fine. So that's what I did. I went and I filed bankruptcy, and I was able to free myself from all of the debt, I guess. But not really. You have to still sell the property. Like, they're still attached to you. The mortgage company is still going to want to recoup in some kind of way. So I ended up short selling the properties to totally just be done with them. And it was a huge ego blow. It's like I bought all these properties. I was 24. I had I was probably 26 at this point, 26, 27. But I had all these properties, and now I have nothing. Like, I had to get rid of all of them. Yeah. So.
But then you came back. You came back pretty strong, though. I
came back strong. It took 10 years. I didn't buy another piece of property for 10 years. I had a bad taste in my mouth. I hated real estate. I was like, I'm never doing real estate again. I went and got an apartment because I had never lived in an apartment. Like, fresh out of college, I moved back home with my dad, and then I bought the house. So I went and bought an apartment. I wanted to live in a luxury apartment, and I went and got one. And then I lived in this apartment, and it was lovely. I still love that apartment to this day, but just the entrepreneur in me, the financial make it make sense person in me was just like, I cannot pay this amount of money to somebody else. So while the apartment was beautiful, it had all the amenities that I needed. Because at that time, I just was living life. I was traveling a lot, going wherever I wanted. So I was rarely there. So I'm paying, I don't remember what, I think I was paying like $1,700 a month for this apartment, and I just wasn't living in it. I was always gone, and I'm just like, I mean, and I also moved there because it was convenient to my job, so it was a bunch of like perks that while I chose that apartment building. But so I lived there for maybe a year and a half, and then I found a basement apartment in a residential house, and this guy, he basically had a huge house in Laurel. He had 2 1-bedroom apartments in the basement. And he rented out to me, and one he rented out to another young lady. And I'm living there, and at first I'm loving it because I'm saving all this money, and I'm like stacking, and I'm like, this is perfect. Like I could do this. Like, and then because when you're living in a house, like there are people over top of you. So the kitchen was over top of my bedroom. So yeah. So even if I didn't want to wake up on a Saturday, like I'm woken up because the wife was in the kitchen, the family's moving around, they had a dog. Super lovely people. They were so nice. It was a perfect situation. Even the apartment was nice. I still had granite countertops, washer and dryer, my own entrance, everything. It was just 14. And kind of what I learned from that situation is sometimes I get so focused, so tunnel vision, kind of like when I wanted to be the millionaire, that I was uncomfortable. I was not happy. That house was making me unhappy because I'm being woken up when I didn't want to. And I'm like, but I'm so focused on saving this money. And I was like, girl, go move. Like, stop. Why are you doing this to yourself? Because at the time I had started looking for a property because I was like, I want to do what he doing. Like, I can't just keep making him rich. So, I did. I got a realtor and I was looking for it. But this time I had learned from buying in Maryland. I was like, I don't want to buy in PG County anymore. I feel like, it was Charles County. My PG County house got upside down too, but pretty much Maryland. I was like, I'm not buying in Maryland anymore. I felt like their property value didn't hold, and I was like really on DC. I was like, I gotta buy in DC. DC did not lose its value like how Maryland did. So then I'm trying to like buy a house in DC, not knowing that the market in DC is totally different from from Maryland, and the demand was different, and like the process to get the house, like I put several offers on homes and I didn't get it. People had the means to pay 50,000, 200,000 over asking, and I was like,
200,000 over.
I called my father and I asked him why wasn't I a trust fund baby. I was really disappointed because he didn't set me up properly.
Right.
But I did end up getting a house in DC, in Northeast. I would say it probably was a C-class neighborhood in the beginning, but I was buying for longevity. I knew once I bought in DC I was never going to sell, and my perspective on buying a house this time was to buy a house that's going to generate income. I no longer wanted to buy a house because I wanted to own a house, or buy a house because it's cute, or buy a house because the kitchen is nice. I bought this house strictly because it can make me money. And it had its own separate basement. So I bought this house with the plan of renting it out, kind of like the house I had just come from. And I was like, I'm going to make some money. Then I don't care what the house do, long as I'm making some money. So, yeah.
That is awesome. After living in that situation and now pretty much generating that same situation, was there like any friends or anybody else like that you had in your circle that was doing it at the time too?
No, I'm still looking for my circle. I went to a women in real estate meeting last night just because I'm trying to find the people that are like me, and I feel like that's a good start. It was a bunch of people in the room that have been in the spaces that can share knowledge, and that's what I'm looking for, the information sharing, but the people who are not trying to sell it like as this glamorous thing, because I already know it's work. Like whatever you tell me, I already know that I'm gonna have to put in some work. I don't care how good the deal is. So yeah, so I went there last night just to try to get more rooms, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to just find my tribe.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I've been doing a show for coming up on 4 years.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
I've came across a lot of people who are in the real estate game. So you're more than welcome to reach out to anybody that's in my platform as, I guess, About That Wallet alumni now, since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely share my contacts from local and also abroad as well, because in
Okay.
case you just wanted to reach out to somebody, and also to get you on other shows as well. So we're gonna find your
Yeah.
tribe. We're gonna get you there.
Okay.
So one of the things that I find in real estate, because I could talk to you all day about real estate, but I just want to make sure that we might just have to have you back on to talk more about this. So now that you have your vision, you still want to be that millionaire. What habits or things that you feel that's going to take you to that next level?
So what's crazy is I'm already going to be a millionaire, and little 24-year-old Sherita didn't know this at the time, but just by me working at my government job and doing the company match and me putting in the money, I'm going to be a millionaire anyway. I'm going to be a millionaire with my job or with my TSP. And then I have a separate Roth IRA that once I'm able to pull from that too will be at $1 million. And then you get a pension with the government, and I'll get whatever that amount. I won't get the full, because now that I know that I can retire sooner than I can, guess what? I'm out of here, buddy. So
not the buddy. Like, yeah, I'm out of here, buddy.
I'm out of here. Yes, I cannot wait. I mean, I want to leave on good terms. I don't want to because there was a point where I was probably a disgruntled employee, but I'm not mad anymore. I am really thankful for the government. The government has really, it was a really good decision. They paid off my student loans. And then, because of that investing and them just having the platform and me following the instructions, I effortlessly got there, not even knowing that I was going to get there until I started tracking my net worth. And then in addition to those accounts, I have owned 3 properties. So I'm good. So yeah.
Nice. And one of the things that I do like about having the lifestyle or understanding the finances, it's like you don't lose vision of the goal. It's just you can always quit something else to get to that goal. You know what I'm saying? And I like that your tenacity of like not giving up, and you know what, we're gonna find a way. And I might be like, okay, I see what's happening now.
I know. That can be a blessing and a curse though, because sometimes, because I am a very determined, driven person, but sometimes you got to know when it's just not meant to be, you know? And I feel like trying to find that fine line is difficult, and it's still a learning process, but for sure, every day I'm learning.
Well, I mean, just from this conversation now, I mean, it seems like you know what you want to do. You know what your next steps that you need to do to kind of take you, I guess you could say, take you to that not the next level, but to the next rung in that ladder to kind of achieve like your fulfillment. It seems like you're still missing something.
Well, I think because I'm just now realizing that I'm at the point, because kind of like how you spoke about earlier, me realizing that I'm going to hit $1 million in retirement. I've researched this called Coast Fire. So now I'm not going to aggressively invest as much as I was. Like, I was really trying to max out my TSP and max out my Roth IRA. So now I'm just going to continue to max out my Roth IRA, and then reduce debt this year is totally to reduce debt outside of my mortgages. It doesn't benefit me to pay off my mortgages, I need all the tax benefits that I can get. So definitely, like, that's the path I'm on now, is just paying off my debt and being job optional.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, job optional. That's why they call you your debt-free destiny. I love that. So
exactly. So that's what I'm speaking to on my Instagram page, because I feel like real estate and being debt-free goes hand in hand, because you need to be really good and really hands-on with your money in order to do real estate, especially if you're going to be an investor. You're going to be managing projects and you're going to be having different money coming in and out and going on different cards. You got to be really savvy.
Yeah. So I might have to probably talk to you offline about some hard money lending. So
Ooh,
for your next project.
Yeah.
So we can come back and then talk about your hard money lending projects.
Yeah, please, because because I have another deal, a whole nother story. I randomly bought this property off auction.com. Was going to brunch with a friend and I was like mentioned it, and he mentioned that he had like, I don't even know how much money. He had money saved. And I was like, if I needed it, would you allow me to like utilize it? And he was like, yeah. So that's how I got my Baltimore property.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
we got it. Oh man.
yeah.
Right. So that's, I don't do I have a Patreon, but I haven't used up it. But this one had to be another juice topic. We have to bring you back on that one.
Okay.
Is there anything that you want to talk about before we will not talk about? Is there anything that you want to say to the audience before we get into the final 4 questions?
No, I think we've covered like a whole bunch. I'm interested to see like maybe questions that the audience has, and then I can come back and maybe go into more detail on those. But no, I'm happy with what we've shared. We've covered a lot.
Awesome. All right, ready for the final 4?
Yep.
Number 1, what does wealth mean to you?
Wealth to me means freedom to have slow mornings, freedom to do nothing, freedom to pick up tomorrow and fly to Jamaica, or maybe I just want to go to a park, but the freedom to choose and to do what it is that I want and not have any type of financial restriction or burden or a job telling me I can't go. Yeah.
Especially from the apartment situation. Lasting impression. Okay. Number 2, what was your worst money mistake?
So I feel like my one first, I think I have 2 because the first one that comes to mind is how much money I've wasted on credit cards. Like I've paid off a credit card and then ran it back up, paid it off, ran it back up. And the second one is I remember so vividly not clearing out. I took out 10,000 of my 401k one time to try and save a property, and I still couldn't save the property. And it was yeah. Okay.
We'll bring that up in the next one.
Yeah.
Number 3, what was your favorite financial or non-financial book?
I mean, well, I have to do a shameless plug, and it's going to be Claim Your Freedom, the book that I wrote and released on November 1st. But I feel like a lot of people have financial books that they will recommend, but the book that has been so life-changing to me is called The Power. There's a book called The Power. It's similar to the theory of The Secret. I don't know if you heard about The Secret, but that's what The Power is about. Basically, like what you put your focus on, what you put your energy into is what you get back tenfold. And I find that just every day striving to be a good person, trying to put out good energy, having gratitude and being thankful for the things that you do have, because I feel like a lot of us don't realize how blessed we truly are, and I try to just be mindful of that while I'm in this rat race to get to 1 million. I want to still be conscious and aware that what I have right now is good, and I'm good at this level. While I want to achieve more, I want to do more too. So that book has been life-changing.
Yeah, I might have to try add that to my list because that one I haven't heard. Yeah, being recommended.
I used to listen to it before going into work because it just makes you want to just give love. You want to give love. Like it says, like giving love towards like everything. Like if you do something like your podcast, I'm so happy for you with your podcast. This is beautiful. This is great. I wish you nothing but success. And in turn, that success or those accolades will come back to me. But I really do wish it for you. And they said basically if you show that kind of love and appreciation to everybody, to everything, it comes back tenfold. And it does. It works. You like the little things don't bother you anymore. I still get irritated still, behind somebody driving that's in my way, and I just try and like take a deep breath and be mindful that it's not that serious.
Yeah. I think I forgot somebody said that Queen Latifah had mentioned that on one of her interviews, which that was one of the greatest advice that she ever received, was that it was not that serious. And I was like, wow. And here you are, like, talking about manifestation. Like, the world is funny.
Cool. It is. It so is.
And number 4, what is your favorite dish to make?
So I thought about this for a while, like how I was going to answer it, being that I am preaching being money conscious. I don't enjoy cooking though. So a lot of my meals are very much so quick. I'm in the kitchen and I'm out the kitchen. I don't enjoy being in the kitchen all day. So my favorite meal is something boring like salmon and vegetables, or anything that can go in the air fryer.
The air fryer is making some money.
It is. The air fryer is life changing, especially since I'm trying to be conscious of my spending and stay at home and cook. The air fryer is the answer to all my prayers. It cooks everything, and it cooks everything like super fast, and it's not dry. I love it. Now, 10 years from now, it might be some studies that come out that, but for right now, we're fine.
We good, right? Just like the microwave.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
The very last question of the show, which is, where could people find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can go to my Instagram page. That is debt_free destiny. I can spell it if you think I should spell it.
Yeah, you can.
It's debt, DEBT _free, FREE, destiny, DESTINY. But that's probably the best place to find me. I am on Facebook, but Instagram, I'm super active on Instagram.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sherita. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Man, I have to say that this has been an eye-opener to the real estate game. Get a little bit of nitty-gritty about it, because not too many people talk about the failures of real estate. They only talk about the glamour. And I really appreciate you for doing that and sharing that with the audience. So if anybody that's listening right now and you looking into getting into real estate, make sure you go ahead on and rewind this episode and actually share it with your buddy. You might actually have your own internal circle. You just never know. So I want you guys to start having that conversation. So when are you going to buy your first property? Why are you still renting? I want you to think about that. All right, everybody. You gotta be safe. Out. Peace.